Homework for lesson 13.1. Describe the effect of each transformation on the parent function. Graph the parent function and its transformation. Then determine the domain, range, and y-intercept of each function. So let's take a look at number 1 here. Now, what we need to remember is the transformation equation. So g of x equals, and then we would have a times b to the x minus h plus k. What does a do? A is a vertical stretch or compression or reflect over the x-axis. All right. B is the base. What about H? What does H do? H is the horizontal translation left or right, and then K is the vertical translation up or down. All right, so put that in your notes. Might want to put it on your 3x5 card. Okay, there's also a couple other things. Let's see here. All right, so here we have f of x is 2 to the x power. G of x is 2 times 2 to the x power. So A is 2. And that's right there. B, and let's use a different color. B is 2. H, there is no H, so H equals 0, and there is no K, so K equals 0. All right, so what's going to happen here? 2, okay, it's greater than 1, so that's going to be a vertical stretch. Okay, now f of x will always go through these 2 points. You got 0, 1, and 1b. All right, so 0, 1 would be right there, and 1b, well, b is 2, so that's going to be 1, 2, and that's going to be right there. Let's see if I can draw that. And it's going to look something like this right here. All right. And that looks like, that's G or f of x. That's f of x. Now, G of x here, that 0, 1 would become H, and then A plus K. All right, A plus K. So that's going to be 2 plus 0. So here we got H is 0. So it's 0, and then 2 plus 0 is 2. So we're going to have 0, 2, and it's going to be right there. All right. And then this 1b becomes H plus 1, and then A times B plus K. So h plus 1, 0 plus 1 is 1, and a times b, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 0 is 4, and that's 1, 4. So 1, 4 is going to be right there. All right, and then it's going to look something like this right here. And it looks like that. Well, anyway, all right. So there you go. Now, if you happen to have an inspire, or if you don't have an inspire, you can use Desmos, but you can graph this. 2 caret x, press enter, and there it is. And then tab 2 times 2 caret x, and press enter. All right, let's see here. Let's check and see. We had 0, 2, and 1, 4. Let's see if that works out. Control T. So let's see here. 1, 4 works out, and 0, 2 works out. So there you go. It works. It works. So that's 1. Let's try 2. Let's try 2. And I'm going to go ahead and get myself a little working room here. All right. And let's see here. Let's see here. Let's try g of x here. Let's do this. Let's do it like this. G of x. What is a? What is a? A is -5. What is b? B is 2. H is 0. And k is 0. So we're going to have 0, 1 will be 0, 1 will be h, and then h and a plus k. So we're going to have h is 0, and then a is -5 plus k. That's going to give me -5. So 0, -5, we'll say that's about right there. And then let's see here, 1b, that's going to be h plus 1, a times b plus k. So that's going to give us 0 plus 1, that's 1. And then -5 times 2 is -10 plus 0. That's going to give us -10. So 1, and let's see, 8, that would be -4, -6, -8, -10. 1, -10 is going to be right there. And it's going to look something like this right here. All right. Now, we had some other instructions, and I didn't do that over here on number 1. What were those other instructions? Let's see here. What were the instructions? Okay, graph, we did that, graph the percentage. All right. Then domain, range, y-intercept. All right, let's go look at that. What do we got here? The y-intercept here, the y-intercept on number 1, the y-intercept. Well, let's see, that was 0, 2 is, so y equals 2. Now the domain is all real numbers, and the range is always whatever k is. K is 0, so we're going to have a range of y such that y is greater than 0. Not greater than or equal to, just greater than 0, because it never actually touches 0. Over here, the y-intercept is, well, -5. So y equals -5. And the domain, again, the domain is all real numbers, because you got an arrow here, so it's going to get way out here, and it's going to cover all that negative x's. And then, yeah, but that's at a slight angle, so eventually it'll cover all that. x positive. So the domain is all real numbers. The range is going to be y such that y, and see it's down here below 0 because remember k is 0 here. So y is less than 0. And it's less than because a is negative. Over here it was greater than because a was positive. All right. Let's take a look at number 3. And you notice there's some change up here. We've got x plus 2. So a is 1, b is 2, h is negative 2. Well, how can that be negative 2? Remember, x plus 2 equals 0, so x equals negative 2. All right? And, well, the equation was x minus h. All right? So if x equals, we'll just do x equals x plus 2. If you subtract x from both sides, you got negative h equals 2. So h equals negative 2. You can do it that way as well. And k is 0. So what's the transformation here? H equals negative 2. So that's going to be a horizontal translation, left 2 units. All right, horizontal translation, left 2 units. What is going to be our y-intercept? Okay, what's going to be our y-intercept? Where is it going to cross the y-axis? How can we figure? Do we have to graph it to figure that out? Well, maybe we did. Domain is going to be all real numbers, and the range is going to be y such that, now see, a is positive, so it's going to be greater than, so y is greater than, and 0. All right, so we can figure that out. Let's go ahead and try that. So we got, what was that? 0, 1, that was, well, let's see here. We got h and then a plus k. So that's going to be, h is negative 2, and then a is 1 plus 0, negative 2, 1. So negative 2, 1 is going to be right there. All right. And then the other one is h plus 1 and a times b plus k. So h plus 1, negative 2 plus 1, negative 2 plus 1, that's going to give me negative 1. A times b, 1 times, that's going to give me 2 plus 0 is 2. So I got negative 1, 2. All right. And then it's going to go here like this. And, you know, I'm not exactly sure where it's going to cross the y-intercept just yet. So how can I figure that out? Well, x has to be 0, right? 0. X has to be 0. So 2 and then 0 plus 2, well, that's 2. So that's 2 squared, which is 4. And there it is. So y equals 4. That's the y-intercept. Again, we can graph that. Let's graph that and check that. On new document, no. In graphs, we got 2 caret x plus 2. And then let's see, control table, we'll check our points. And we had negative 2, 1, negative 2, 1, negative 1, 2, negative 1, 2, and 0, 4. So those all checked out. Good deal. All right, so number 4, what do we got here? Number 4. So A is 1, B is 2, H is 0, and K is 5. So let's see here. Let's do our first one, h and a plus k. So that's going to be, h is 0, so we got 0, and 1 plus 5 is 6. So 0, 6 is going to be right there. And then we have h plus 1 and a times b plus k. So what do we got? H, 0 plus 1 gives us 1. And then a times b, that's 2, plus 5 is 7. So we got 1, 7. Let's see here. 1, 7 is going to be about right there. And hold a second. Over here, we had this horizontal asymptote at y equals 0, right? Because that's as close as it came. Here, where's our horizontal asymptote? We have k equals 5, right? So we're going to have a horizontal asymptote. We're going to have a horizontal asymptote right there. Okay, might want to draw that because see, I was sitting there doing this and I almost got into it. And then it goes up like that. All right. So it looks something like that. And then over here, you had horizontal asymptotes here at 0 because the horizontal asymptote is always whatever k is, because it approaches k, but it doesn't actually touch. So let's see, what are we missing here? What is the y-intercept? Y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? Y equals, and then what is that spot right there? 6. Okay, we found it when we were finding that. And then this 5, that is going to be a vertical translation up 5 units. And then our domain will be all real numbers. And the range is going to be y such that y, it's going to be greater than, a is positive, so it's greater than, and k is 5, so y. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, 5. Uh-oh, now we got a new base. So let's take a look at this. What is A? A is 2. What is B? B is 10. What is H? What is H? 0. And what is K? 0. All right, so let's find our first point. We got H and then A plus K. So H is 0, and that's 2 plus 0 gives us 2. So we got 0, 2. All right, 0, 2. And then we have H plus 1 and A times B plus K. So 0 plus 1 gives you 1, and 2 times 10 is 20, plus 0 is 20. 120. So 120, that's going to be way up there. All right. Let's say it's way. Now K is 0, so we're going to have our horizontal asymptote at 0. Need that so we can draw it. And then we're going to have some, and I mean to tell you, that's going to be a sharp turn. That's going to be a sharp turn. And because I mean that's getting up there. That gets up there quick. All right, so let's see here. Our A is 2. A equals 2, so that's going to be a vertical stretch by a factor of 2 of 2. And let's see, the y-intercept. We've already found it, and that's going to be y equals 2. The domain is going to be all real numbers, and the range is going to be y such that y, a is positive, so it's going to be greater than, k is 0, and there we go. Not bad. Let's take a look at number 6. A is -4, B is 10, H is 0, K is 0. All right, so A is -4, so A equals -4. We're going to have a vertical stretch and reflect over x-axis. All right, so let's find our points. We've got H and then A plus K. So H is 0. A is -4 plus 0, so that's -4. So we got 0, -4. That gives us our y-intercept. All right, and that's going to be y equals -4. Our next point is going to be H plus 1 and A times B plus K. So H plus 1, that's going to be 0 plus 1, that's 1. -4 times 10 is -40 plus 0 is -40. All right, so our domain is going to be all real numbers, and our range is going to be y such that y, a is negative, so it's going to be less than, and then k is 0. So it's going to look something like this right here. And I mean to tell you, that's right there. There we go. Let's just graph that. We hadn't graphed one a little bit. Let's graph one. So on new document, no, graph -4 times 10 caret x, and there it is. Okay, control T, and we got 0, -4, and 1, -40. See what I mean? It gets small quick. Control T, and there we go. All right, looking good, folks. Looking good. Number 7. Oh, now we're going to do a little bit. So we got A equals 1, B equals 10, H equals 2, and K equals 0. So we got H and then A plus K. So what is H? H is 2, and then A is 1 plus 0, 2, 1. So we got 2, 1 is right there. And then we got H plus 1, A times B plus K. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And then A times B, that's going to be 10 plus 0 is 10. So we got 3, 10, 7, 8, 9. So 10 is probably about right there. That's a little bit off. All right, so let's grab this. All right. So, okay, what do we got here? H equals 2, so we're going to translate 2 units right. And just for giggles, let's do the original. That would be 0. Let's do the paragraph 10x here. So that's 0, 1, 0, 1, and then 1, 10 be right there. All right, so that's going to look something like, just so you can. Just so we can compare them. Okay. And there we go. Just so we can kind of compare. Now that 2, 1, 2, and then 1 is right there. Okay. And then, all right. So you can see here we're here, and what did we do over here? 2, 1 is right there. Okay. And we just went 1, we just moved it right 2 units. Okay. All right. Just so we can kind of do, there's 1 unit, there's 2 units. All right. Y-intercept. What's the y-intercept? So we got 10, and that's 0 minus 2. So that's 10 to the negative 2, which is 1 over 1/100ths. Okay. So y equals 1 over 100. All right. And that's pretty darn close to here. And then the domain, let's try that. 10 to the negative 2. Yeah. 10 caret negative 2. Yeah, it's 1 to 100. You got to check and make sure. Domain is all real numbers. The range is y such that y, a is positive, so it's greater than, and k is 0. Easy peasy. Well, I can put that over here. What do we got here? We have a is 1, b is 10, h is 0, and k is negative 6. So k equals negative 6 is vertical translation down 6 units. All right. And then units. And then we're going to have a y-intercept. What's going to be our y? Y equals, we'll find that in just a second. Domain, let's see, 0. I think it's going to be negative 4, because 10 to the 0 would be 1 negative 5. Negative 5. And the domain is all real numbers. And the range is y such that y, let's see, a is positive greater than, and k is negative 6. Okay, so our what do you call it? Negative 6. Our horizontal asymptote is here at negative 6. So let's plot our points. I need to clear that off. Let's plot our points. We got h and then a plus k. So h is 0, and then a plus k, 1 minus 6. 1 minus 6 is negative 6. Oh, that's negative 5. Negative 5. 0, negative 5 is going to be right there. And then we have h plus 1, and then a times b. A times b plus k. So we're going to have 0 plus 1 is 1. A times b is 10. Minus 6 is negative 4. So here we go. And then 1, -4. And it's going to look something like this right here. And then it's going to shoot up. Shoots up. There we go. How does that look? Let's try that. Let's try that. On menu, on new document. No. And graphs 10 caret x -6. And it looks like that. All right. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. -5. Is that what we, yeah, there we go. All right. So we're doing good, folks. 9. Oh, yeah, 9. Describe the graph of g of x equals 2 to the x -3 -4 in terms of g of x. So let's see. H equals 3. So we're going to horizontal translation, right 3 units. And then K equals -4. So that's going to be a vertical translation, down 4 units. Not bad. Number 10. What do we got here? We got H equals -7 and K equals 6. So that's going to be a horizontal translation, 7 units left. And we're going to have a vertical translation, up 6 units. Good deal. Number 11. State the domain and range of the given function. Identify the new values of the reference points and the asymptote. Use these values to graph the function. All right, so what do we got here? We have A equals 2. We have B equals 3. We have H equals -2. And we have K equals -1. So the domain is all real numbers. All right. The range is going to be y such that y, A is positive, so we got greater than, K is -1, y is greater. So now let's see. The asymptote is going to be -1. All right, there's -1. All right. And let's see, reference points. We have H and then A plus K. And that's going to give us H is -2. And then A is 2 minus 1 gives you 1. So we got -2, -1 is right there. And we have H plus 1, and then A times B plus K. And that's going to give us H, -2 plus 1 gives you -1. And then A, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6, minus 1 is 5. So we got -2, 1, -1, 5 is right there. So we've got something that looks about like this. And then it does the turn. The calculator makes that turn so much smoother. So let's try this in our calculator. On, new document, no, graph And then what's the equation? We have 2 times 3 caret x plus 2 minus 1. Let's see if we got that right. 2 times x plus 2 minus 1. There we go. Let's press graph. All right. Now we picked some points, -2, 1 and -1, 5. So control T, -2, 1 and -1, 5. -2, 1 and -1, 5. There it is. We got them. All right. Control T. I like it when it works. And let's try number 12. Number 12, let's see here. We got A equals -0.5, B equals 4, H equals 1, K equals 2. Domain is all real numbers. Range is y such that y, a is so negative, so it's going to be less than, and then k is 2. So we have k is 2, so that's going to be our horizontal asymptote. And I didn't really get that right on the spot. I can do better than that. There we go. So we've got H and then A plus K, and that's going to give us H is 1, A -0.5 plus 2 is going to be 1.5. So we got 1 and then 1.5 is right there. And then we have H plus 1, A times B plus K. So we have 1 plus 1 is 2, and we have -0.5 times 4. -0.5 times 4 would give you -2, plus 2 is 0. So 2, 0. All right. And then it goes something like that right there. And you realize you can do these in the calculator, right? Let's go. -0.5 times, what do we have? 4 plus 2. Is that right? Plus 2. Yeah. And press enter. That gives you 0. So, yeah, there you go. Domain, range, asymptote. Did I miss it? I think I got it over there. All right. 13. I want you to do on your own. I will be checking. All right. I will be checking. And then let's see. Lucky number 13. Here's number 14. Number 14. Do on your own. I will be checking. You're welcome. And then number 15. Number 15. Let's see what we got here. A equals -1/4, B equals 5, H equals -1, K equals -3/4. Domain is all real numbers. Range is y such that y, we got a negative, so that's going to be less than. K is -3/4. -3/4. So we have -3/4, and that's going to be approximately right there. All right, that's our asymptote. And then we got h, and then a plus k. Since we got fractions, let's see, h is going to be -1, and then that's -1/4 plus, -3/4, and so that's going to give me -1. Looks like -1, -1. All right, -1, -1 is right there. All righty. And then we got h plus 1, and then a times b plus k. And that's going to give me -1 plus 1, and -1/4, -1/4 times 5 minus 3/4. And that's going to equal 0. And let's see, I can't do that in my head. So let's go. We got -1 control divide 4 times 5 minus 3/4 minus 3 control divide 4, and that gives me -2. -2. All right, so we got 0, -2, and that's going to be right there. So it's going to look something like this right here. And folks, I'm trying. I won't be bashing your graphs if you won't bash mine. All right, they're sometimes hard to do. And whoa, number 16. Do on your own. I will check. So that's 13, that's 14, and 16. Okay, that's 3 for you to try. Oh, 17. Write the exponential function that will produce the graph using the specified values of b. And the second reference point is on the graph of the function. Then state the domain and range. So b is 2. So we've got g of x equals a times, and b is 2, x, 2, and that's x minus h plus k. All right, so we need to find some stuff. All right, so we need to find some stuff. How do we go about finding? Well, it gives you k here, y equals 3, so we got the 3. Yeah, that makes it easier. All right, now how do we find the h? How do we find the h? Well, remember 0, 1 is always h and then a plus k. So 0, 1, that's going to be, let's see here. So let's see here. H and then a plus k equals, that's -1 and 5.2. So h is -1. H equals -1. So we'll make this x plus 1. Okay. Now a plus k equals 5.2. All right. And we know that k is 3. So if we subtract 3 from both sides, a appears to be 2.2. Okay. So 2.2. Let's try our equation. Get rid of the scratch pad. On. New document. No. Graphs. So what did we get? We got 2.2 times 2 caret x plus 1 plus 3. Now let's look and see if that's what we got. 2.2. All right. And let's press enter. Does that kind of look like it? It kind of looks like it. So what do we got? We got -1 and 5.2. So let's see, control T, -1 and 5.2. Oh, that worked out good. And then we got 0 and 7.4. 0 and 7.4. There you go. See, it's not hard. Control T. Not hard at all. Not hard at all. All right. And let's see. Then state the domain. Well, the domain is all real numbers. And the range is y such that y is greater than 3. Okay. 18. Oh, B is 10. So let's just go ahead and write. What do we know? G of x equals a times B is 10. So we got 10, and that's x minus h plus k. Well, y our horizontal asymptote. So we know k is 4. Okay, we know k is 4. Well, if we remember h and then a plus k, if that equals -1, 1, we know that h equals -1. H equals -1. And okay, so we can change this to +1. +1. And we know that a plus k equals 1. Well, we know k equals 4. So if we subtract 4 from both sides, we got a equals -3. So let's try that. -3. All right, there we go. So let's graph that. On new document, no graphs. We got -3 times 10 caret x plus 1. It was plus 4. Is that right? Let's check that. -3, 10x plus 1 plus 4. Let's press enter. Well, we're still not. We got to find -2 and 3.7 and -1, -1. So control T, and then we got -1, 1, and -2, 3.7. Is that what we had? -2, 3.7. There it is. There it is. Control T. Let's see here. All right. Let's try on 19. Word problems. Find the function that corresponds with the given situation, then graph the function on a calculator and use a graph to make a prediction. A certain stock price opens with a price of 0.59. Over the first 3 days, the value of the stock increases on average by 50% per day. If this trend continues, how many days will it take for the stock to be worth $6? Okay. I think you had some word problems that were similar to this. And the formula that we use, the algorithm, is f of t equals a times 1 plus r to the t. Okay, this is called exponential growth. So now we just got to figure out what's what. Well, A is 0.59. Okay, A is 5.59. And it increased by 50% per day. So that's going to be R. The rate is 0.50. Okay, so let's put that in. F of t equals 0.59 times 1 plus 0.5 to the t. Now, to put it in the calculator, you can't use t. You got to use x. So let's make an x there. All right. So let's go to our graphing calculator. On. New document. No. Graph. And then we have 0.59 times, and then open parentheses, 1 plus 0.5. Close parentheses, caret x. Press enter. There it is. Now what we want to know is when it equals $6. So we want to know when f of x equals 6. Okay, so let's put it in here. And we'll press tab and we'll put 6 in there. So this point here is when it equals 6, and we can menu 6, 4, and we get 5.72. Okay, so we get 5.72, 5.72. Now, Mr. Carpenter, I don't have a graphing calculator. Well, we can take this right here, we can say f of x equals 0.59, and then 1 plus 0.5, that's 1.5 to the x power. Okay, so this was 6, so we'll put 6 equals 0.59, and that's 1.5 to the x power. Divide both sides by 0.59, 0.59. So what do we got? Let's go 6 divided by 0.59 equals 10.1695. 10.1695 equals 1.5x. Okay, what you do have in your calculator, is the ability to, and you can do this on your phone, 1.5 caret, and we want to get 10.1694. So let's try 5. That's 7.9. All right, let's go up there and grab that. And let's see here. Let's make that 10. That's 57. So we know it's somewhere between 5 and 10. So let's go up there and we'll grab that. And just for giggles, we'll go 7. 17. How close are we? 17. We're still too high. Okay. What was the actual answer? 5.72. Okay. You can get real close. Okay. You can get real close. Go up there and grab that. And delete 6. Okay. So you know it's between 5 and 6. Okay. You know it's between 5 and 6. Let's just split that in half. And so you can do this, 5.5, 9.3. So you know it's a little bit more than 5.5. Just walk it up. Walk it up. 7. 10.08. And you're looking for 10.16. Okay, so you can do this at home. You can do that at home. All right, so, All right, let's try 19. Sue has a lamp for her grandmother. She has it appraised and finds it is worth $1,000. So A equals $1,000. She wants to sell it, but the appraiser tells her the value is appreciating at 8% per year. So R equals 0.08. In how many years will the value of the lamp be? 2,000. So we've got, remember our equation, F of T equals A, that's 1,000, times 1 plus 0.08 to the T power. Okay. So let's see here. Boy, that looks terrible. Let me clean that up a little bit. I don't want anybody getting upset about my penmanship. All right. So we want to know when that's going to equal $2,000 equals 1, 2, 3, 1 plus, let's just go ahead and combine those. That's 1.08 T. So that's divide by 1,000. And I get 2 equals 1.08 T. Okay. Now, if you want, don't forget you got menu 3, 1, and you got 2 equals 1.08 caret T comma, t. We got 9.006. Okay, so t equals 9.006. You can do it that way. You can also use Desmos. Desmos, it is on your Chromebooks. Okay, don't forget about Desmos, and then you can graph it. You can graph it like we did just a second ago. And let's see. Let's try. Let's try graphing it. New document. No graphs. And then we got 1,000 times open parentheses 1 plus 0.08 close parentheses caret x and enter. I don't see anything. Press tab. Put 2,000. And it's going to be way up there. It might be quicker to do. Menu 4. Doom, 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 doom. Oh, there it goes. It crosses right there. And wow, I'm saying, oh, don't do that. And, wow, those are. But I bet if I menu 4, 1, and let's see, X-Men, I don't care anything about left of the 0. And then we'll just put 15 there. And then tab, and we'll put it on 5. Well, there it is. Menu 6, 4, and 9.01. There you go. They did a little rounding there. Try 21. The population of a small town is 15,000. If the population is going by, okay, here is the formula. I want you to fill it out and find it, okay? I will be checking. And then 22, Bill invests $3,000, so A equals $3,000, and with an interest rate of 9% per year, so R equals 0.09. If Bill does not withdraw any money, in how many years will the bond fund be worth $5,000? So when will $5,000 equal $3,000? And then we have 1 plus 0.09 to the t. Okay, all right. So let's go back in here and we'll try this. Menu 3, 1, 5,000 equal 3,000 and times open parentheses 1 plus 0.0. Was it 8 or 9? 8 or 9? 9. Close parentheses, caret t, comma t, and hit enter, and I get 5.93. So t equals 5.93. All right, folks, great job. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you back in school tomorrow.